and welcome to the Lake District Yogi. My name's Kat. I've called today's class a little flowy flow. I don't know why, it just struck me as quite amusing and I just liked it and thought it was cute. So here we go, this is flowy flow. It's going to do what it says on the tin. We're going to move pretty much continually and we're going to get into all the nooks and crannies of our body, getting everything a nice stretch and warming everything up, and it's going to be relatively short but very sweet. Okay, we're going to start in child's pose. I will obviously just have a sip of tea. And before we do that, it goes without saying, I'm sure I say it every single time I post a video, if you need to press pause and create your space, you know, if you've been with me before, I'm a big believer in this. I think curating the kind of energy and vibe that you want is kind of, it's not as important as getting on your mat. It doesn't matter what you do, you just get on your mat and move your body. That's what we're here for. But it can enhance your practice to have a nice warm drink or some essential oils or candles or music or any of those things that will just create the vibe that you want. So feel free to do that and we will meet in child's pose. Okay, so knees nice and wide. Let yourself come forward so your torso is coming between your thighs. The arms can stretch forward. They don't have to. You can bend the elbows really heavily. That can be quite soothing. Place the forehead down. You can put the arms behind you so your hands are around by your feet. Sometimes I like to bring the palms together and bend at the elbows and create that connection between my hands. It just doesn't matter. It changes day to day what kind of child's pose vibe you are going for. We are not going to be here for too long. Place the forehead down and then take a big breath and sigh it out of the mouth. You can do a number of those if you wish. It's just about signaling to your body that we are releasing some of that, you know, the weight of the day. We're releasing some tension and we are going to start moving our bodies. Okay, so we'll just stay here for a couple more breaths. Maybe take this time to check in with yourself. Just say hello, see how you're feeling, be honest. You know, what we bring to the mat is what we bring to the mat. We don't have to come to the mat perfectly lithe and supple and flexible and all those things. We come to our mat in our messy, ugly lives, selves, and we just work with what we have. And that's just the absolute beauty of this. Okay, when you are ready, slowly slide the hands towards you. Push yourself up into all fours. You can tuck the toes or not, entirely up to you. And then find that stable foundation. So press into the hands, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. If you've got the tops of the feet on the mat, you can create that nice contact. Start to lightly engage the core. And then take a breath in and drop your belly. So make this one fairly small to start with. Maybe a little lift of the chin, really engage through the arms. Excuse me, there's almost, I'm going to turn this way, you stay where you are. There's almost an internal rotation of the elbow crease or an external rotation of the hands. They're not moving, but it's a tiny, minuscule intention to move this elbow crease round that clockwise. So just see if you can find that engagement in the arms. And on your next exhale, press into the hands, send the spine to the ceiling. And then find your flow. Inhale, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly. Exhale, press into the hands, round the spine, press, press, press into the earth. Keep moving like this, inhaling, letting that belly drop, maybe lifting the gaze a little bit more now or lifting the chin. Exhale, really rounding and rounding, hollowing out through the armpits. Inhale, sweep that heart forward between the shoulders. Exhale, press, press, press into the earth, round the spine. Okay, come back to that neutral spine. Send your right leg out behind you, level with your hip, and then lightly engage that core again. So really start to draw in that lower belly and engage the leg. It doesn't matter if you point the foot or flex the foot, just keep that back leg nice and engaged. Try to keep the hips square. And then we're going to bring that right foot and step it through between our hands. And you may stay very much like this if you can, and you have the room, in a room, to, not in a room in your space, in a room to send this leg back a bit, by all means do that. We're in this low lunge. So fingertips can stay on the floor. Keep that heart shining forward. Keep those legs, that inner thighs, it's almost like a kind of scissoring together movement, as if they're sort of being magnetically drawn. And then maybe you want to lift the hands to the knees, or you can lift the arms overhead and feeling that delicious full body stretch. Okay, if you've got the arms lifted, bring them back down and then come back to all fours. Send the left leg out behind you and then find all those points of engagement. So draw in the lower belly, find the activation in that back leg. Feel the energy there. Feel it in your bum all the way to your foot. Okay, when you are ready, step that left foot between the hands. You can help it if you need. Send the right leg back as much as you want and then find whichever version is most comfortable for you. And finding, remember, that balance between stretching and letting the hips sink down, so we're stretching into that front right hip, but not just collapsed. We're not dumping all our weight, we're doing it with some control. Okay, when you're ready, bring the hands down, bring that knee back. Okay, one more round of cat-cow, just to reset the spine here after that lunge movement. Nice. Okay, we're going to step the right foot again, but this time to the outside of our right hand. So you can send it out behind you first if that makes it easier. Step it to the outside. So we're in lizard lunge, and again, send this left leg back as much as you want. You might find it easier to come up onto fingertips here, or maybe even use your blocks. So I have a couple here. I can just show you this. So you can just lift the hands off the earth a little with blocks here if you need. If you don't have blocks, part of the books will do. Okay, so feeling into both hips, nice and juicy. Okay, here are some options. You can place the palms flat again and then take your right hand to your inside of your knee, coming onto the outside edge of your foot as you just gently, really gently start to open into that knee and into that hip. If you're doing that option, here's an additional little, a little tip just to make even more sensation, is to turn your torso towards your right leg. Let your left hip start to move in the direction of the earth. So you're really stretching into both hips by doing this. But that's just an alternative. You by all means don't have to do that. Absolutely fine. It might be enough just to stay here. Okay, so if you are opening out the hip, come back, find the ground and let the hips come back to being square to the front of your mat, and then send your hips back. Extend through this right leg. It doesn't have to go completely straight. You can move the fingers towards you, but finding this half split lizard variation. And find any amount of flow and movement here with the upper body as we breathe. And then slide your left hand, so maybe about level with your right knee, and then peel the right arm up. We're going to go shoulder, elbow, fingers. And finding this lizard half splits twist. So we're really melding sort of three poses together here almost. Beautiful. Bring that right hand down, undo all of that. So walk the fingers back forward, re-bend the knee, find that lizard lunge, and then come back to all fours. If you're on a super hard floor, don't forget to pad your knees. You can always put a blanket underneath your knees and keep them protected. Okay, so we'll do the other side. So again, if you want to send the leg out behind you first, find your lizard. So foot to the outside of your hand, inch that back leg back if you can, if you've got space there. And then find either fingertips or blocks or maybe this delicious opening here. Okay, finding the front again, so fingers down and hips facing the front of the mat, and then send the hips back, find that half splits variation. So it can be nice just to lift up a little if you've got the space to do this. If it's really fixed, you know, you're in quite a fixed position and there isn't that much movement yet, then obviously just stay, you know, completely here, stay still. But if you've got that space to do any amount of little flow, so you can lift up with your inhale, fold a little with your exhale, it just creates just that beautiful feeling of fluidity, a dance-like feeling to this. And then slide those right fingertips back towards you. Find your stability and then peel shoulder, elbow, fingers. And feel that twist from the belly. Draw back on that left hip. Okay, bring the hands down. We'll undo this. Walking back forward, back into that lizard. Just for another breath. And then bring the knee back. We'll reset with one more round of cat-cow. So lifting the gaze. Breathing out, pressing into the earth, round the spine. Nicely done. And then we're going to come up into downward dog. So tuck the toes. And when you're ready, lift the hips. Don't forget you can readjust as much as you like. So you might need to move the hands further forward or more, you know, towards you to find a comfortable downward dog. Remember to bend your knees if you need. Don't have to be straight. And just take a couple of breaths here. Okay, we're going to step our right foot between our hands. So prepare. Sorry, plant. If you want to send that right leg out behind you, then by all means do so first in order to step it through. We're coming straight up into warrior two. So we're sealing that back foot down, windmilling the arms, coming into our warrior two. Front knee directly over the ankle. You should be able to see your big toe. And then breathe into this shape. And by that, I mean breathe into the tips of your fingers. Feel the energy lines down the arms. Feel that energy line that runs right down the center of your body, a center of gravity. Feel the energy in the hips. The strength of this pose. Draw that lower belly in. Okay, and then we flow. So on your next in-breath, gently find the back leg, reverse your warrior. And then rainbow forward, place the elbow on the front knee, extend right to the tips of those left fingers. Reverse your triangle this time, so straighten the front leg as you come back. And then we move into triangle, Trikonasana. Both legs are straight. I always have to walk my back foot in a little. Lean first this way, as if you're being pulled by that hand. And then find your triangle. So this top hip is kind of back. As soon as things start to round forward like this, come back up. We often compromise the integrity of this pose to try to get this hand way too far down the leg. It's fine right up here. This hip needs to be back. And then breathe here. Feel the strength and the softness. Okay, rebend the front leg, find that warrior again. Reverse one more time. And then windmill the hands all the way to the front. Find the framing of your front foot. Step back into plank. We're going to move through a vinyasa, knees down or up. Your choice. Finding either upward dog or cobra. And then back to downward dog. If you are still a little unsure about vinyasa and whether to do upward dog or cobra, or even what the difference is, check out my little tutorial on it. It's called How to Vinyasa. It's only 5 minutes or so, but it breaks it down into a lot of detail for you. Okay, send the left leg out if that's how you prefer, or just step it through between the hands. Find that lunge and then sweep yourself up into your warrior two. Knee over the front ankle, back foot fully placed, angle immaterial. Okay, I'm really sorry that my head is almost at the top of this. It's almost cut off. Okay, so energy right to the tips of the fingers, equal energy down both legs, feeling for that center, feeling as if your spine is sort of slid down a wall, hips above shoulders. No, that's ridiculous. Shoulders above hips. Okay, let's flow. So find your reverse warrior, gently keeping that hand on the back leg. Rainbow over, elbow to knee, extend to the tips of those right fingers. Imagine that long line all the way from the right fingertips to the right foot. Okay, reverse your triangle, straighten that front leg. And then move into Trikonasana. So these are my stages. I heel toe that back foot in. I lean fully this way as if somebody is pulling me from the fingers, and then I simply tip. And as soon as that top hip is out of alignment and is rolling forward, just lift up. There are no prizes for getting your hand to the floor. That is not what this is about. Okay. Just ease up. It's only yoga. We're just trying to feel good in our bodies. Okay, we're going back to warrior two. So brace yourself, kind of engage that core, bend the knee, back to warrior. Reverse your warrior one more time. And then come all the way forward, frame that front foot, step back to plank. Let's hang out here for a couple of minutes. Well, actually, a couple of breaths, maybe a bit more realistic. Bring the knees down if you need. Draw in that core. Press into the earth. Feel the strength in your arms. Feel the inner thighs sort of magnetically drawn to each other. Engage the legs. Feel the muscles of the thighs engaged. Feel your bum engaged. Keep that breath slow. Okay, when you're ready, lower down all the way or halfway, depending on which version of vinyasa you are doing, or indeed go straight back to downward dog. That is all good too. Okay, okay, hang out here, couple of breaths in downward dog. Find child if you need. Always remember, this is my yoga practice for my body. And depending on my energy today and my health today and my amount of sleep that I had last night and all of these factors will change how you need to approach your yoga practice. So I'm here to guide you, but I'm not here to dictate what you have to do if it runs against what you intuitively know you need today. Okay, nice. Step the foot forward just a fraction, tiny fraction, and then walk the hands back towards your feet. Open them out a little, come down into a squat. So we've got toes out, heels in. Okay, fingertips can stay on the floor or bring the hands to your heart. And if you're doing that version, you can use the elbows against the inside of the knees. Press the palms together. Keep that heart lifted towards your sternum. Keep that breath nice and smooth. Okay, fingertips to the ground. Plant the left hand so that there's a connection between your upper arm and your leg. Really create that, like that leg and arm really, really meet. And then sweep that right arm up. Peel yourself open, lean a little into that top shoulder. And then bring the right hand down, make that between your arm and your leg, and then open this one. Spread through the fingers, let the palm shine forward. And then bring your hand back down. Plant the fingertips, lift the hips a little, turn the feet parallel, find your forward fold, a nice wide base. Hands can stay down, they can hold your opposite elbows, the backs of the legs, anything you like. Just let the upper body hang. And then find stillness, plant the fingertips back down, find that halfway lift so the hands can come to the leg if you need. And then walk yourself back to downward dog. Readjust the feet. And then we're going to go into a little moving pigeon. So the knee is going to come between our hands. So again, if you want to lift the leg out behind you first, and then bend the leg and bring the knee towards your right hand. Again, shifty back that left leg as much as you need. If you need to pad underneath your right bum with a blanket, that's good too. Okay, coming up onto the fingertips, bring the fingertips in front of your body, your leg a little bit. It's a bit further forward. Press into the fingers and then just open out through the chest. And again, really important, if you're collapsing onto that right bum, right hip, just wedge something under it, that's fine. Okay, take a breath in, and as we breathe out, bend the arms and come forward any amount. Inhale, breathe back up, let the heart shine forward. Exhale, calm down. Inhale, breathe up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, up one more time. Exhale, find forward. Inhale, find an upright spine. Nice. Plant the hands again if you are on your fingertips. Now deliberately sit onto your right hip. So if you've got a blanket, remove it. And then sweep this left leg round. Place the foot on the outside of your right knee. Readjust yourself as much as you need. Okay. Try, if possible, to keep both sitting bones grounded on the earth. And then drape your right arm down your leg, left hand behind. And find that twist from the belly. If you would rather, you can place your elbow against your knee. That gives that kind of leverage that we were working on earlier, where you can get your elbow and your knee to work together. And if you really can manage this and it feels comfortable, you can straighten that right arm and find your foot. So it's entirely up to you which you choose. And slowly undo that. Take that top leg, swing it back round behind you, tuck the toes, press into the hands, lift up, release that bottom leg, find downward dog. Have a couple of breaths here. Okay, then we'll Prepare to do that on the other side and move the left knee between the hands. So however you get there, you know, take the time to pad wherever you need to pad, make it comfortable, and then send the fingers forward a little. Press them into the earth and really lift that heart. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, fold forward any amount, bend in the elbows, bring the chin into the chest to round yourself back up. Create as much fluidity and dance here as you can. Close the eyes if you wish so that you can really feel everything. This little dancing pigeon. Okay, last one. When you come up this time, pause. And then plant the hands, remove the blanket if you had one, sit onto this hip and swing your leg around, place the foot on the outside. Recenter yourself, do whatever you need to do here. Okay, both sitting bones down on the ground. Take this left arm, drape it round down your right thigh from the elbow on your knee and the hand draping down towards your hip, right hand behind. Lift first through the spine and then twist from the belly. If you can and you would rather, you can move your elbow to your knee. Or you can straighten that arm, find your foot. Slowly unwind that. Bring that right leg back behind you, tuck the toes. Press into the hands to make space to lift and release that bottom leg, finding our downward dog. Okay, from here we're finding a seat. Come to the knees and swing the legs round, or you can jump or hop yourself through. And we're going to come up into boat. So leaning back onto the sitting bones, lift the legs. So maybe we've got the legs parallel to the ground, but we're just holding on the backs of our thighs, just lightly. So that enables us to keep that heart kind of magnetically lifted towards our legs. If we want to, we can release the hands and hold like this. If you want the full boat, you can straighten the legs, by all means. I'm not going to be doing that today. So keeping that core activation, keeping that magnetic draw between the torso and the thighs. Okay, slowly bring the feet down, let the legs go long. So lift through the spine, find that length, and then just walk your hands until you reach your edge, which could be up here. It's totally fine. And then let the hands find the ground or your legs or your feet. And even though this is a forward fold, still think about that heart center shining out. We're not closing it all off by rounding forward like this. Take a really nice centered breath. Here you are in your beautiful, unique body on your mat. Breathing and moving. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, very slowly undoing that. Lift yourself back up. Bring the soles of your feet together. You can hold onto your ankles or maybe clasp your hands and sort of make a little basket for your feet. And again, lift up first, shine that heart, and then fold forward any amount. Again, it's totally okay if it's here. It doesn't make any difference. Once you reach your edge, the work is the same, whether you're there or much further forward, doesn't make any difference. And then just settle in here for a couple of breaths, beginning to let everything slow down again. So in these forward folds like this and the one we just did, it's worth checking in. Don't make an assumption that where you've landed at the beginning is where you're going to stay, because actually once things start to settle and the muscles start to relax, and we actually find there might be a little bit more movement. So we just need to be aware of that, and if there is, move into it really gently. You know, just explore that opening and that space. It's much better to do it that way than to force yourself into something at the beginning. Okay, when you're ready, slowly lift yourself back up. Just find that easy seat. Place your hands on your knees, close your eyes, and just take a full round of breath, feeling into the physical body, the obvious places, the shoulders, the hips, the big joints, the big muscles that you've used. And then see if you can feel into a more subtle layer, an energetic layer, something on a much more subtle level. Maybe you can feel different pockets of energy, or that vibration of energy flowing through your body. Maybe your mind feels different, or your kind of mood, that kind of energy has shifted. Just making a little mental note of all of that, just to see how you feel. The more in tune we are with ourselves and our own feelings and the feedback we're getting from our bodies, the quicker we can address problems, and then we don't end up in these awful situations where we've let things get so bad that we are really in a dark place. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for that lovely little flowy flow. I hope you enjoyed it, and there will be plenty more coming. If you liked it, please do all the things. So like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever, and then I will start to spread these videos out and reach more people and share the yoga love. I mean, frankly, who doesn't need a bit of respite from everything that's going on in their lives at the moment? Who doesn't need a little bit of calm and a safe space? So I would love to be that place for people. Anyway, in the meantime, from my home to yours and from my heart to yours, I hope you are well wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat. I can't wait to practice with you again soon, and I send you lots and lots of love. Bye.